Hello, darlings. Today I'm in a mood to complain. Just a bit, just a tiny bit. For those who are new here, welcome. My name is Roxana, and here we expose and explore our traumas and ups, and we take care of our mental health together because people need people to share stories and heal. As I mentioned before, I am extremely grateful for my psychiatrist and that I finally got diagnosed after 10 years of a extreme roller coaster. And my diagnosis gave me hope that my life can become more stable and things can get better and easier for me. And of course, it helped me understand why things were happening. So the fact that I got diagnosed have many positive things. But there are also things that I hate about being diagnosed with mental health disorder. Well, hate is a strong word, being a bit dramatic here. Let's say things that frustrate me, annoy me, irritate me. And today I wanted to discuss with you some of them. So let's talk 10 things that I hate about being diagnosed with mental disorder. Number one, from now on, whenever I go to a doctor, I have to disclose and tell them that I have bipolar 2 disorder and what medication I'm on. Obviously, I'm not talking about psychiatrist. He knows, I hope it was his idea, but other doctors. And I know that this is the protocol. I know that they need this information, but I swear, sometimes, not all of them, but few, whenever I tell them that I have bipolar 2 disorder, there is a slight switch of the way they are listening to me. And this attempt to correlate my symptoms to my mental disorder. And I know, like, you will say, oh, doctors know best. Well, yeah, no, sometimes they don't. And sometimes it's not related. Sometimes I can be just sick and it has nothing to do with my mental disorder. And it's not my paranoia. I swear, it's not me projecting. I am dealing with Eastern European, Bulgarian doctors. They are amazing. Most of them are just like the best of the best doctors. But there is a certain group of doctors who are a bit old school from the communist times. And they have, let's say, a certain approach to the world that is questionable to me. Like, for example, my grandma once went to see a doctor who was from this old school communist time, and he told her that at her age, why she even bothers to come to see doctors. There is no point. She should just enjoy her life as long as she can. And I was like, mind-blowing, right? And of course, my grandma, after that, she doesn't want to see doctors. She refuses to go to see any doctor. And like, I'm not gonna talk about their approach to mental health. But yeah, and again, I say it's a minority of doctors, but it still happens. I don't know. Let me know if you ever experienced that. If you have a mental disorder, and whenever you tell the doctor that you have a mental disorder, like a certain a thingy that a bit changes, and they try to see if what you're talking about is not a symptom of your mental disorder. So yeah, let me know in the comments. And now what I do is like I do a thorough research of my doctors. It's a very, very strict selection. Whenever I can, obviously. I would research them on the internet, like try to go deep, find their CVs, etc. I'm not that exigent about my boyfriends that I'm about my doctors. So I want them to be around 40 years old, because that means they didn't go to school during the communist times, and they are not too young. I want them to have some experience. Also, preferably if they have knowledge of a second language, if they participated in some international conferences or published article, like scientific medical article, maybe in a different language than Bulgarian. I love my doctors to be international. No, but I think that shows that they have an interest and are up to date with the news in the medical community, what happens in the world, because not everything is translated into Bulgarian. So yeah, check your doctors, choose them wisely. Second thing that I hate, after my diagnosis, basically I started my medication. And since I started my medication, I got acne. I never in my life had acne. Like maybe 1-2 pimples before period, but even when I was a teenager, I did not have a bad or even mild acne. So that kind of frustrates me, because it's not only aesthetically, it hurts. It's like this nodular acne that freaking hurts, and sometimes it even became a bit like a cystic acne or boils. I don't know how you say it in English exactly. And needless to say that it does affect my mental health. It doesn't help it. So I started to take medication to help my mood swings, and I got acne, which does not help my mood. But it is what it is. I'm working with a dermatologist to try to cure it. Right now, she put me on Accutane. I talked with my psychiatrist because if I can, because Accutane has a side effect. Ironically, Accutane has a side effect that causes mood swings and depression. And I was like, oh, come on. Come on. Can I have it all? What? Is it like choose clean skin or clear mind? No, but yeah, I talked with my psychiatrist. Is it okay if I go on Accutane? And he said, well, yeah, you choose, you decide. No, he said that I can. He allowed me, and yeah. So we shall see. Number 3, some people changed their attitude towards me. I'm not talking about my loved ones and the closest friends. Mira, Robin, Ginevra, if you're watching this, it's not about you. You are golden. But some people did change their attitude towards me. They became more hyper attentive. I can see that they analyze every gesture or every words or slight shift in my behavior as, oh my God, does she become manic? Does she become depressive? It's a bit annoying. You feel like in a zoo and constantly observed, and a bit like with the doctors, some of them attribute everything to my bipolar 2 disorder. And I'm like, no, sometimes I'm just a bitch. It's not my mental disorder. But yeah, it's hard to communicate with them if you feel like everything about you is being overanalyzed and looked under a microscope. That makes me overanalyze. I don't want to make anyone uncomfortable, so I start to be super cautious how I move or what I'm gonna say, because like I am expressive with just my character, but with them I try to be less me, so I don't I don't scare them away. Or sometimes I start making jokes because I think, oh, let's light the mood. But my sense of humor is a bit, I think is for everyone. I think I'm hilarious, but a lot of people disagree with that. So yeah, so sometimes my jokes made it even worse. I hope with time they gonna get used to it and just relax a bit. I don't know, because I can no longer be myself with them, and like I said, and it's a bit, what's the point? But if they are not super close, I mean, of course, if it's a partner, it would not work out probably. If someone is hyper vigilant all the time, well, you cannot build a normal relationship with them. But if that's acquaintances or just colleagues or not very close friends, I'm like, okay, whatever. But you know what I mean. It's not that important. But if it's someone closer, well, then it's kind of sad, because there is this hope that, well, I hope it can be less awkward and we can have banters and just have our relationship back as it was. What was the song of Mr. Harry Styles? It's not as it was. It's never been as it was. Something like as it was. Yeah, something. I wish it it is something as it was. Number 4, some people did not change their attitude towards me. I know you're like, Roxana, what the F you want from people? You don't want them to change. You want them to change. Make up your mind. I know. I never said it was easy. Um, no, it's about balance. It's a fine line. Loving me is for the strongest and purest souls. I'm just joking, but I am super grateful for my support network. Those people are the strongest and purest souls in this world. Uh, and what I mean, they did not change their attitude towards me. I am bipolar. Yes, I am on medication. Yes, I work and try hard to self-regulate. I have my internal coping mechanism. I constantly try to analyze and identify my triggers. I do all this stuff to keep my bipolar in check, but I still get phases and episodes and symptoms. It's inevitable. I'm not gonna be a neurotypical person. So when I say people did not change their attitude, I mean they don't take into account my bipolar 2 disorder. And it's not like I'm here wanting a carte blanche or a free pass to do some stupid stuff and be like, oh, well, I'm bipolar. I'm sorry. I'm bipolar. It's not that. But you change your attitude. You have to if you wanna keep a relationship, a close relationship with a person with mental disorder. Or, for example, if someone is an addict, if someone is an alcoholic, you're not gonna keep offering them drinks and, hey, come on, just 1 pint, let's go for a crawl, for a pub crawl. To give you a concrete example, sometimes one of my symptoms or whatever is I can get extremely irritable without any reasons. Of course, I mean there are outside triggers, but they are not directly linked to my irritability. It's not like, oh, something happened at work and I'm irritable because of that. It might be, oh, I fucked up my sleep pattern and I'm starting to become symptomatic again, and I start to become irritable without any reasons. And of course, I myself am, because I know that I'm bipolar, I know that I have to do something about it. In a sense, I'm activating all my internal coping mechanism. I try to manage it, to use some of my tools to try to calm down. Long story short, I try to do less damage around me and to my surroundings. But sometimes I fail. Sometimes I can snap at someone, and if the person doesn't take into account that I'm bipolar, they might snap back or take it personally or try to argue with me or something. And for a normal person, it goes like 1, 2, extreme irritability, then you have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 until you get to anger, rage. For me, in this state, it gets from 1 to extreme irritability, or just irritability, snapping, then someone pushes me and it's directly 8, 9, anger, rage. And of course, I never, until now, I never became physically aggressive, but I do explode, and it might even more hurt the person emotionally, maybe mentally. uh, or the same with depressive episode. When I am in a depressive episode, it's not always like me sobbing in the bed uncontrollably. Sometimes it is, but sometimes it's just me not showering for days because I cannot force myself. I cannot do anything. It feels like unbearable chore, so I will stay in bed. I cannot focus. I'm not crying. I'm just nothing. I cannot work. To send a work email, it would take me hours just to formulate one sentence because my brain just cannot focus. It's so hard. Everything is so painful, and people can look at me. If they don't take into account my bipolar disorder, they will be, oh, well, come on, force yourself, or like, you're just lazy. I cannot force myself. I'm trying with my coping mechanism, but I just can't. It does not work like that. So to have a relationship with me, it yes, like I said, it might sound very difficult. For that reason, I don't have friends. I do. I just mentioned 3 people, so that's that. That's not few, huh? The best of the best, crème de la crème. But yeah, so you do have to know and learn some things. You have to change in some way. You have to change in some way your attitude, not in the way you communicate with the person, not in the way you hang out, or not your relationship, the essence of it. And it takes time. I understand. And it takes not only time, I would say it takes open communication. It sounds hard, but when you love someone, and you already have this genuine, strong communication and relationship, you would have those conversations a bit naturally. So the support network, the people around you would know that some things are bipolar as well. I'm trying as well to communicate whenever I am in these episodes, or feeling that I'm becoming symptomatic again. Before, I would never talk whenever I was depressed. I would never tell my loved ones even that I'm depressed in the moment, because like I said, even talking felt so difficult. It's not just because they won't understand. It's just like I'm so in pain. I cannot formulate even a sentence, and I can say I'm in pain, but I know people will start asking me questions, and I just can't. I don't have strength to have this conversation. So it was easier just be like masking, try to isolate and from the world. But now I force myself whenever I feel that I'm going down. I'm telling my mom, I'm saying I am in depressive episode. Number 5, I have to be on meds for the rest of my life. I think this one is self-explanatory. No one wants to be on medication, and every medication have side effects. So to have to be on medication for the rest of your life, whenever you have a chronic disease or a disorder, it's not fun. I'm just gonna be a bit philosophical and talk a bit cliches, but it's true. We are always wanting things in life. We want money, or we want a successful career, we want a successful family, the perfect partner, etc., etc. We have goals, dreams. It's wonderful to have goals and dreams, but in the chase of something new and something better, we don't appreciate what we have. But I think our health is the thing we less appreciate. I don't know. It's a long run just to say appreciate your good health, but it is. It's so cool whenever you have it. Be grateful for your health and your body. If it works, if you're not sick, ill, if your body works, that's the most important thing. Number 6, I no longer view my emotions and emotional states as I did before. So I did say that I get annoyed when people are hyper vigilant about my emotions or what I say, but I am hyper vigilant with myself since I got diagnosed. I'm constantly well, maybe not over, but at least analyzing my states, my emotions, because I need to emotionally self-regulate. So I would be like a gendarme, like a police officer to myself, or a nurse 24/7. I would be, ooh, I'm talking too fast. Let's slow down. Ooh, I'm happy. Maybe I'm too happy. Like, I would check, am I the normal amount happy? If I get too excited, I would try to still get a bit down, not down, but like not get in the euphoric state, because then I can get hypomanic or crash down. If I'm sad, I would also check if it's just me being sad or it's a beginning of a depressive episode. My emotions are symptoms. So I started in a way to always check if it's a symptom or if it's just a human reaction. Of course, I still feel, but before I would just go with the emotion. I would not have distance. I would not think about it. Before I knew about my diagnosis, the emotion, the strong emotion would emerge and it would drown me, and I would be like, okay. And it was easier. But now it comes and I'm, oh, no, okay. We can choose to surf if it's just not me being symptomatic, but still having a strong emotion. I would try to surf on this emotion to kind of be in control of what is happening with my perception and with my expressions. Or if I understand that this is something that is not okay to feel, it's too much for the given situation, it's a bit overreaction, I would try to calm down. So it's a totally different approach towards emotions and me being in emotions. And in a way, it's tiring. In a way, like I said, it was easier just to be drowned by the emotions and go in these states. On the other hand, it's interesting for me as an artist. It's interesting because it pushes me to explore even more my emotions, and to explore even more the nuances of every emotions, to see the difference between the different level of feelings, because we can say happy, happy, happy to everything. We call happy, or we call sad, a lot of feelings that are actually quite different. There is sadness, there is sadness with pain, there is melancholy. Same with happiness, what level it is, what color are they. There are different intensity. The colors are brighter, the colors are sometimes more saturated. So yeah, it's maybe I don't hate it. Maybe I should take it off from the list. Number 7, I have to talk about it, disclose my mental disorder to everyone I want to build a long-term relationship. It's a bit the same what I was saying about the doctors, but here it's more about personal stuff. It was easier before, because now whenever I date, I have to think about when I'm gonna tell the person, how I'm gonna tell the person, what's gonna be their reaction. And before, when I didn't know, it was easier. I was not telling anything, and they would find out after that I'm unstable. Fun. No, well, I'm joking, but it's just I can't have this spontaneous romance no longer. I cannot just have a crush, fall in love, have these exciting dates, and I still can have exciting dates and fall in love, but it comes with the thought that, well, okay, I have a crush. Okay, I find someone interesting. Okay, they ask me on a date. But whenever I tell them that I have bipolar 2 disorder, they might say, no, thank you. And it's okay. I'm not blaming them, because, like I said, it's not for everyone. And it's not just romantically with people I would like to be friends with. It's the same. From the beginning, I have to prepare myself for a possible rejection. Number 8, dealing with the stigma. Unfortunately, there is a lot of stigma around bipolar disorder. And what annoys me is that it seems like depressions are sociably acceptable. Depressions are, well, oh, poor you, and bipolar disorder is like scary. And I notice it because whenever I tell people that I have bipolar 2 disorder, and if they ask what does it mean, and I explain that I have episodes of hypomania and episodes of depressive episodes, and that I spend most of the time in depressive episodes, they look relieved, a bit more comfortable about around me. And I'm like, why? I mean, I still can get a mental breakdown while I'm depressive, and I did, I there's also a risk to get a psychosis during a depressive episode. Fortunately, I never had one, but there is a risk. Depression is not, it's not pretty tears in a bed. I'm sure if I would say, oh, I spend most of my time in manic episodes, the reaction would not be the same. And it's not like one is less serious than other. And yes, both are severe, but also both are manageable if you sought help, professional help, and you're taking your medication and doing all the work. You can have a life, a stable, more or less stable life, have a family, have a job, have friends. So why we are so scared or stigmatize mania, and we're like, oh, depression, well, yeah, poor you. That I think in the society there is this romanticization of depression, which is wrong and clearly fucked up. Like I said, depressions are destructive. They are not something that, oh, just these fragile souls experience the turmoil of the artist, of whatever. It's painful, agonizing, ugly, and it destroys your life. Like I already said, you cannot function. You're not functional. And for me, depressions are not associating with some, I don't know, crying in bed. I associate it with unpleasant smell because I didn't shower for days, with the fact that I cannot do anything. I'm constantly in this pain, and it's not emotional pain. It's everything. It's physical pain. My brain hurts. My body hurts. Everything hurts. I try to find a position in bed, doesn't work. I went to sit in a freaking corner, it doesn't work. I lay on the floor, it doesn't make it better. I just want it to stop. I cry internally, yell, not even cry, asking for a break. I just need a break. But no one gives you that break. No one gives you that relief. It's becoming worse and worse, and it's constantly there. The pain is there. It doesn't go away, and you just find yourself in a hopeless place. There is no hope. There is no light. There is just darkness, and you're just going deeper and deeper. And no, I don't want to do art when I'm depressed. I can't freaking write a sentence because my brain doesn't work, and you feel like the worthless, the biggest piece of shit, because you cannot do anything. And you start thinking, maybe if nothing helps, maybe it would be easier if I just stop existing, because the pain doesn't stop. And maybe it will stop if I just don't wake up. And yeah, I mean, I don't know how to explain it, but it's not easier, it's not prettier, it's not thinking that when you're depressed, if you're more rational than you're manic. No, You're not rational. You cannot think straight because of the pain. You cannot. You don't understand what comes and what goes and what's happening with your brain. You just want to leave your body. You want to take your brain and throw it away somewhere. It's just you cannot reason with someone who is depressed, but same like you cannot reason with someone who is manic. It's the same shit. I'm sorry. So if we can fight the stigma around depression and say that yes, people can live a more or less stable, healthy life if they get treatment and fight depression, same we can do for people who have bipolar, have mania. We can accept it as we accept depressions. Why we can't? Why? I mean, both of things are manageable. Both of things makes your life harder. Yeah, okay, yes. But both of things are treatable, and both of things are not your fault. And so we should have the same approach and same reaction to people who say, oh, I have bipolar disorder. 1 or 2 doesn't matter. The same approach and same reaction when we hear that as whenever we hear, oh, I have been diagnosed with clinical depression. We have to have compassion, empathy, and be curious if we don't know what it is, to have desire to educate ourselves, and just be human. Number 9, the realization that my life will never be the same again. I think it's a bit of summary of everything I said until now, after the diagnosis, that there was this. It's weird because I didn't change. Like, me as Roxana, I don't feel like I changed. Maybe in a better way, yes, but I didn't become a different person now that I have the diagnosis or the label of bipolar person. I'm still the same. I'm the same, but even I became less chaotic now that I take my medication and do therapy and everything. And my behavior is even better now. I didn't change. I don't know how many times I'm gonna say that, but yeah, I did not change. I'm still the same person, but my life will never be the same. Never. Because all the 8 points before this one showed you that there are a lot of things that would never be the same, and I have to approach differently. I lost people from my life. I started to view things differently. My approach to myself changed. My relationships will never be the same. A lot of major changes that like that. My diagnosis made things around me change more than me. So that's weird. I don't know. And it was a bit uncomfortable and annoying and frustrating, especially at the beginning, because I observe how everything changes around me, how people start changing around me, well, their behavior towards me, or they ghost me, and I sit and I'm here like, well, but I'm the same person. And number 10, feeling that I have wasted so many years. I haven't been diagnosed for 10 years. So from the onset of my bipolar until I got my diagnosis, 10 years had passed. And those 10 years were like that. Between depressive episodes, hypomanic episodes. Well, I didn't know at the time. And crazy decisions, things, some fun things that I did, some not so fun. I don't know, if I had to describe with few words, I would say chaotic, sporadic, exhausting, and destructive. And because during these 10 years, when I was undiagnosed, I developed toxic patterns because of my bipolar disorder. And those patterns made my life so unstable. And now, after the diagnosis, when I understand all these things, I'm like, if I sought help earlier, if I got the diagnosis earlier, maybe I would had achieved more. I don't know. It feels like I, in some way, wasted so much time. And also, like, if I did know my diagnosis earlier, I would maybe had less pain in my life. Yeah, so I don't regret. I'm getting emotional talking about that. I'm sorry. But yeah, maybe like I don't regret my life. I don't regret anything. I don't love I don't love the word regret, saying that I regret something, because for me it's like still living in the past, because when you regret, you want to change, and you cannot change, so you're forced to accept, forgive yourself, and move on if you want to have a healthier and life now in the present. So I try to do that as much as I can, but still I'm like, why didn't I stick to this opportunity? But I impulsively decided that I had to change the path, and I went another direction, and I fell there, and I changed so many jobs and countries, and I was like, why? Maybe if I did not spontaneously move from Paris, or if I did not spontaneously move from London, and it is what it is. But it's still, it's 10 years. 10 years that went like, but like people say, better late than never. So should be grateful that at least now I have this chance to build something stable in my life. So that was the 10 things I hate about being diagnosed with mental disorder. And what about you, darlings? If per any chance you are as well in the club of people like me, uh, are there any things that frustrate you? I'm sure there are. What are the things that frustrate you, annoy you, or irritate you about being diagnosed with mental disorder? What is your experience? I would love to hear about it. So please, 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 like always, share your thoughts, your experience in the comments, and please, please, please subscribe. And I hope we never stop sharing our stories. I hope we never stop listening to each other, and I'll see you soon. Bye. Love you. Mwah.